Hello, my name is Pawan Chandrasekhar, and today's my topic is technical. That is, what is constructor in a Java? So let's discuss what's exactly the constructor in a Java. What are their types, and what are the rules of creating constructor inside Java? So let's discuss it one by one. So constructor is a type of constructor is a block of code similar to a method. It's like as we create method, so it is similar to the method. So constructor is nothing but a block of code similar to method. Next is constructor is called when the object of the class is created. That is, as we create the object of the class, then that time constructor is automatically called. Next point is, while calling at the time of calling constructor while at the time of calling constructor, the memory is allocated to the object of the class. It means that when we call the constructor, that's time at the time of calling constructor, the value the memory is allocated to the object of the class at the time of constructor calling. Next is, constructor is a special type of method. It is called to initialize the object. It means that when we call a constructor, then that's time object of the class is automatically called. And next is, constructor is when constructor is called, then that's time the value is assigned to the constructor. It means that constructor is used to initialize the value of to the object. So first point was, constructor is nothing but a special type of class. So constructor is nothing but a block of code similar to a method. When we call constructor, then that's time the object of the class is automatically created. At the time of constructor calling, the object is automatically called. Then constructor is nothing but a special type of method. When we call constructor, then that's time the object of the class is automatically initialized. Then when if there is no any constructor inside the class, then that's time uh, our Java compiler automatically called a default constructor if there is no any constructor inside the class. It means that usually we create constructor by user needs, but sometimes there is no constructor inside class, but that's time for calling the object, constructor is must needed. So that's time there is a feature of Java compiler automatically add constructor inside the class by default. It means that by default a Java compiler add constructor inside the class. So that's we call default construction calling. Next is, there are some rules to calling constructor. So what are that rules? So first rule is, constructor name must be same as its class name. It means that if the class name is student, then the constructor name must be student. It means if we give a different name to a class and different name to a constructor, that's time we cannot call it as a constructor. It will be a method. So the first rule is, the constructor name must be same as its class name. Next is, there is no explicit return type inside the constructor. It means that constructor do not give any return value, as if we see in a method. So method must need any return type. So next, and the third rule is, constructor must not be static, final and synchronized. So constructor must not be this. So let's take one example of the constructor. So if we take one class whose name is student, and then we assign a value. One is a student name, that is string s, and a student id, that is int id. So we take this in a constructor. So we call one constructor and give them a parameters, that is student id and student name. So in that class student, we give one display method which will show the value of student id and student name. And then after creating this display method, then we will go inside the main method, and we will call them, and then we will call that constructor. So for calling constructor, we must need object. So as we say, constructor must be constructor is called at the time of object creation. So as we create the object of the class student, that is student equal to new student, and then parenthesis. So that's time the object of the class is automatically created and the value is assigned to that constructor. So there are two types of constructor also. One is like a parameterized constructor and one is non-parameterized. If let's talk about our example, like if we take two parameters, like one is id and one is name. So if we do not pass that id inside the constructor, then that's time this constructor will be default constructor, that is there is no parameter to that constructor. And at the same time, if we pass parameter to this constructor like id and name, then that's time this constructor will be parameterized constructor. So this is all about the constructor. Thank you so much.